In this video, I'm going to be talking about what I think the 7 most important items are that you can put in a Faraday cage to help deal with the aftermath of a major EMP attack. Now, I did a video a while back about the contents of a couple of my Faraday cages, but it's very general. You can have different levels of severity with an EMP. There are CMEs, or you can have solar flares. These kinds of things can damage your electronic devices, but the event may not be a life-altering event. In this video, it's a life-altering event. The United States is hit with a major EMP. The grid is down for many months, if not years. 90% of the population may be dead within 1 year, according to a congressional report, which you can read under the description below. Now, in a situation like that, you want to have food storage, water storage, a bug-out bag in case you have to leave, a way to defend yourself, all of these typical preps. All of those kinds of things are way more important than a Faraday cage, in my opinion, in this scenario. Unless you have like a medical device that's electronic that keeps you alive, that would be priority. But a Faraday cage still plays a very important role. You have electronic devices you use every day, and many of those will not work after an EMP like this, unless they're in a Faraday cage. Now, I have a video where I show you how to make a Faraday cage. It's right here, if you're interested in that. But you're going to need some kind of power source to run those devices, and that will have to be protected as well. Many people use or buy a portable power station with solar panels and that kind of thing, but many of those won't work either after an EMP that I'm describing here, unless they protect that in a Faraday cage as well. And I also did a video that shows how to make a Faraday cage for a portable power station, and I talk about how to test it right here. But most people they don't want to do that. They spend a lot of money on that, and they don't want to just put it away. And even if it did survive an EMP, it's going to be a little awkward carrying a 50-pound portable power station with a solar panel and a backpack if you have to bug out. You wouldn't make it past your driveway probably without being attacked. So what's the solution to this? That specific dilemma? That brings up the first item in the Faraday cage that I want to talk about, and that's an inverter. Now, the inverter I have is a Bestek 500-watt pure sine wave inverter. All I have to do is take the alligator battery clamps that it comes with and attach it to a 12-volt battery, and it'll produce AC current up to 500 watts. It also has USB ports. And you can buy 1,000 watt, 2,000 watt, and on up inverters. But the more wattage, the larger they are and the heavy they are. And I want to be able to carry it in my bug-out bag in case I have to bug out. This one only weighs 2 pounds. So it's perfect for this kind of situation, I think. Now, I'm going to be storing this inverter as well as the other items I'm going to talk about in their own Faraday bag within the Faraday cage. The reason I'm doing that is because if I have to bug out, I can put it in my bug-out bag and it will be protected from future EMP attacks. Now, I know you're wondering, okay, so where are you going to get the battery? Well, there should be over 275 million batteries lying around because vehicles won't be running after an EMP like this as well, at least most of them. And they'll be abandoned. So you find one, pop the hood, and use your inverter, or take a couple batteries, take them to your house or your camp, wherever you're at, and they run out of power, just take some more batteries. But eventually you're going to have to charge these. That brings me to the second most important item in the Faraday cage, and that is a charge controller. Now, the charge controller I have is a Renogy Wanderer. It's a 30 amp charge controller. It can handle up to 400 watts of solar. It only weighs 270 grams, so it's perfect for my bug-out bag. And all I need to do is attach my solar extension cable to the solar panel and then to the controller, and then another cable from the controller to the battery. Now, I know you're wondering, okay, so where are you going to get the solar panel? Those are going to be all over the place. You're going to either have to carry it or find one. There'll be many that won't work because of the EMP, but there will also be several that will. You just have to find the ones that do. In fact, I'd collect a few more because they'll be worth gold at that time. Now, if you're going to stay at home, then you might want to just get a larger inverter and buy a solar panel and a battery and put it in your garage. You know, that way you have it's kind of like having a portable power station that's a part. It's not as good as a portable power station, but at least it's something. So then all that you need to worry about is some assembly required. Now, the third most important device is a cell phone. It's kind of like a personal library. Now, when my wife and I buy a new cell phone, we don't turn our old one in. We put it in a Faraday cage. We load it up with what we call survival apps. They all work offline. national map, local maps. There's apps that tell you how to identify medicinal plants, edible plants, how to make a shelter, how to find water and filter it, how to make a fire, how to make traps, that kind of thing. But we also have music files on there. We have videos, movies, games, puzzles. It's loaded with that because there could be a time when we're going to have a reliable power source, and it'd be nice to have that. At some point, though, I'm also going to need to be able to charge my phone. And so that brings up the fourth most important item. Now, this is my portable phone charger. This would be nice to have because I may not have access to a battery for quite some time for my inverter so I can charge my phone. So having something like this would be really nice. It takes a while to charge with this panel, a little solar panel on it, but it still works. There's a little flashlight on it. There's several kinds you can buy. In fact, I have a folding solar panel in my bug out bag, 21 watts, along with a battery as well. Now, the fifth most important device has to do with communications. I think that's probably one of the most important categories. I'm going to talk about a couple devices here. You need good information in order to make decisions. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if FM, AM radio stations would start broadcasting at some point. You repair their stations and batteries and solar generators, whatever they need, but I think they probably will. And it would be nice to have a radio for that. Shortwave radio will be out there, probably no problem. And with between 700,000 and 800,000 ham radio operators in America, I'm sure there's going to be plenty of ham radios that were protected and not damaged. And I'm sure that they will be built and maybe even brought in from other countries. I don't think that's going to be an issue either over time. So I think the best radio for the general public in a situation like this would be a shortwave AM FM radio. There's a lot of them out there. The one I like and the one I bought is a Teskin Digital PL330. It's an AM FM long wave shortwave world band radio with single sideband. And this thing weighs less than half a pound. I even have a little external antenna for it. This works really well. This is a very well built radio. There's one downfall is in order to charge it, I need to use, in this scenario, I need to use my inverter and a battery. They have rechargeable batteries, but that's the only way I can do it. So what I did is I bought several of those batteries and I charged them up and I leave them in my Faraday cage. But still, you're limited. Now I have another radio. It's a CR1009 Pro AM/FM shortwave radio. It's not even close to the quality of the other one. The other one does there's a learning curve on that. So if you're not familiar with these, it may be difficult to learn for a while. But this radio is pretty simple. It's very easy. You can charge it by cranking it. There's a little solar panel. You can rechargeable batteries in it. You can put batteries in it. So you have more variety of ways to charge those batteries up. Now, a great radio for emergencies is a ham radio. My wife and I both have a license to transmit with one. If you want to find out if you need a license in an emergency situation, just check out my video right here in this link or research it online. We have a few different handheld ham radios, Yasu, we have Baofangs, and after an EMP, we'd use those like walkie-talkies, 1 to 6 mile, direct line of sight kind of thing. We can also scan to find out if other people are on those frequencies in that area. Now, we usually use these radios with repeaters, and a repeater is just an antenna on a tall building or a mountain, and you key into it, and it'll allow you to communicate with people much further away. But those repeaters probably won't be working after an EMP. I'm thinking, though, that at some point they'll be getting those back up again. So I think it's very useful to have a handheld ham radio. It's also a less expensive way to get into this ham radio hobby. Probably the best ham radio would be an HF radio. An HF radio doesn't need a repeater. It uses the atmosphere to propagate the signal. If you had a strong enough radio and the right kind of antenna, you can talk with people outside of the United States. So they're great for emergencies. But the ultimate radio, in my opinion, in this situation, is a portable HF ham radio. Now, many of those use external batteries, external power sources of some kind, but I didn't want that because I'm going to be taking this with me possibly in my bug out bag. So, and it has to be small and light. I didn't want to have to worry about trying to find a battery someplace, and then hook my inverter up to communicate. And so I found a radio that has an internal battery. It's a Shagu X6100 HF ham radio with an internal battery and tuner. It's only 1.8 pounds. So it's light, it's small, and it works really well. I'm very impressed with this. I'll be doing a review on it pretty soon, so you might want to hit subscribe and then notifications. Now the sixth most important item would be my laptop. I have a small little laptop here. I transferred all the important data from my computer to my laptop, and then I put it in the Faraday cage. It'd be nice to be able to access all that information when I needed to. Also, the internet might be available at some point in the future, and that would be an incredible tool to use for communication. So, in fact, the internet's probably going to be working around the world in other places and it'll just work its way over. So I think this is very important to have something small that will fit. Now, the seventh most important item would be an LED flashlight or LED light bulbs. Now, it's my understanding they use diodes or a little circuit that could be damaged with an EMP. So that's why you'd want to keep them in the Faraday cage. And when you put them in a bug out bag, you'd want to have them also protected in a Faraday bag, just like all the items I've been talking about. Now, I also have incandescent light bulbs in my garage. I've read that an EMP won't damage incandescent light bulbs, so I've got a bunch of them. And I also have incandescent flashlights, like this little mag light. Just take the batteries out and I store it in the kitchen or my bug out bag. So I think something like this is really handy. Now, just to be clear, I'm not advocating stealing batteries and solar panels from people. I'm talking about a situation where 90% of the population may be dead within a year, according to that congressional report. I wouldn't be surprised if half the population's gone within just a few months. So basically, they've abandoned their cars and their homes. If you want any information about the products that I talked about in my video, just look under the description below. And I don't make any money from the manufacturer for those. These are our own items. Now, I'm going to be doing reviews on a lot of these things soon, so be sure to subscribe and hit notification if you want to see those. I wanted to thank you so much for watching, and please share and like this video if you liked it. Thanks again, and have a great day.